Have you ever considered that your biggest obstacle might not be the government, the economy, your boss, or lack of chances, but an invisible habit that secretly controls every decision you make, even when you think you're acting freely? It sounds unbelievable, but imagine having degrees from the best universities and still living an average life, while someone with barely any schooling can build empires and impact millions. This happens because habits govern behavior, and behavior shapes your entire life. Have you wondered why your results don't change, no matter how hard you try to do things differently? How many times have you promised yourself that starting Monday you would change your life, your habits and the way you act, only to find yourself falling back into the same patterns? The truth is, it's not because you're weak or lazy or incapable. It's because your mind has been programmed since birth, just like mine and everyone else's. From the moment you were born, you absorbed everything around you. You didn't choose the language you speak, the culture you grew up in, or beliefs like money is hard to earn, or success is for the few. Those ideas were implanted in you by your parents, teachers, society, television, religion, and friends. They formed what I call a paradigm, a set of beliefs and habits working quietly in your subconscious. A habit is simply a thought repeated so many times it drives your actions without conscious thought. And a paradigm is a cluster of such habits shaping how you think, feel, and behave daily. You might want to change consciously, start a diet, save money, launch a business, or switch careers. But if your paradigm tells you you don't deserve success or you're bound to fail, you'll sabotage yourself. You may ask, how can this be so powerful? Think about how many times you knew what to do but didn't act. You knew you should leave a toxic relationship, invest in yourself, or seize a rare chance, but hesitated. This isn't lack of intelligence, it's lack of inner freedom. The paradigm acts like an internal thermostat. No matter how much the outside world changes, it resets everything back to your mental default. Take lottery winners who receive hundreds of millions of dollars. Many return to their previous financial level quickly because their mental thermostat for wealth was never adjusted. Changing your results requires more than willpower. It demands a deep rewiring of the mind. I know this because I lived it. Broke, unhappy, lost, working jobs I hated, earning less than $20,000 a year. One day I asked myself, why am I living this way even though I desperately want change? That question led me to uncover the paradigms controlling my life. The deepest truth is, real transformation only happens when you dismantle old mental patterns and build new thinking systems. Without changing your paradigm, even millions won't feel like enough, but change within shifts everything outside. One question drove me to study the human mind deeply for more than 50 years, and this answer helped me escape debt and build a successful career, helping millions worldwide. Changing your mindset does not happen overnight. It is like uprooting a deeply rooted tree, painful and uncomfortable, but far less painful than living a life that isn't truly yours. Right now, your mind might be resisting what I say, thinking it's not for you because you have bills, kids, debts, and no time. But maybe that's why you need change even more. Your family may need you to lead by example, rather than keep excusing your past. You don't have to change everything today, but you must take the first step, the first act of rebellion against your old self. If you doubt how real this is, look around and see how many people stay stuck for years, repeating the same words with the same results. Do you want to be one of them or break the cycle? The power that controls your life is not outside of you. It is inside and just needs to be redefined. When you change your habits, you change your mindset, and when that changes, your whole life changes. Everything in the universe is in constant motion. This is not just philosophy, but pure physics, the law of vibration. Every cell in your body vibrates. Every thought sends out a frequency. This frequency attracts things that match it. Have you noticed that some things always happen to you, the same people, problems, or situations repeating like a broken record? That is vibration, not luck. You constantly emit invisible signals, and the universe responds in the same frequency. Most people don't understand that thought is creative, not just ideas, but literally creating realities. More importantly, it is the feeling behind the thought that shapes the frequency you emit. If you think I want more money but feel scarcity, the emotion wins over the thought. That's why you can study, take courses and apply strategies but still feel stuck. It's not your logical mind controlling what you attract, but your vibrational state rooted in your subconscious mindset. I experienced this myself. For years I thought I needed to work harder and sacrifice more, but the harder I tried, the more drained and far from my goals I felt. I realized I was vibrating scarcity even while working toward abundance. A conversation with a millionaire changed me when he said, "You will never have more money than you believe you deserve." That hit me like a punch, and I understood that despite my actions changing, my mindset was still that of a broke man just trying to survive. Think of us as radio transmitters and receivers. You cannot tune into a station unless your frequency matches it. You cannot attract wealth if you are vibrating fear, doubt, anger, resentment, or self-sabotage. The greatest trap is pretending positivity without truly feeling it inside. Many say affirmations daily, share motivational posts online, but deep down they are ruled by guilt, insecurity, low self-esteem, and negative emotions that block abundance. You may lie to others or even yourself, but the universe responds not to your words, but to the emotions you consistently and intensely radiate. According to a study by the American Psychological Association, over 70% of people experience ongoing financial anxiety even if they earn well. This means abundance is not about the amount entering your bank account, but the value and feeling of abundance inside your heart and mind. Notice how some wealthy people live in fear of losing everything, while others with little money vibrate joy, creativity, and optimism. Who do you think will prosper long term? I invite you to do an exercise for 7 days. Observe what you say about money, success, happiness, love, and more importantly, how you feel when saying those things. If you say, "I deserve to be rich," but feel shame or doubt, stop, breathe deeply, and try again. I am learning to welcome abundance into my life and truly feel it. This is the first step in shifting your frequency, because your frequency is your reality. You don't attract what you want, but what you truly are vibrationally. Until you change your vibration, your efforts will be like rowing upstream, tiring, frustrating, and often fruitless. You must align your thoughts, feelings, and actions, vibrating as if what you desire is already your reality, because your subconscious mind makes no difference between imagination and reality. I have taught this for decades to executives, artists, doctors, teachers, and homemakers, and when applied, something magical happens. Opportunities appear, the right people show up, and synchronicities occur. It may seem like a miracle, but it is actually a law. The law of vibration working now whether you believe it or not. If you have watched this far, maybe your soul already knows this and is waiting for you to decide to leave fear behind and step into faith. Faith here means certainty in the unseen, knowing that aligning your thoughts and feelings with your desires will open doors you can't yet imagine, and you will look back and say, "It all started when I changed my vibration." I know many people with impressive degrees, awards, and recognitions, yet they live stressed, in debt, frustrated, and lost in their lives. Why does this happen? Because success does not originate in logical thinking alone. It happens within the emotional mind, deep inside the subconscious. There lie the beliefs about worthiness, identity, value, and possibilities, like invisible roots that support or sabotage every choice you make. You can study entrepreneurship, finance, or marketing, but if inside you a voice says, "This is not for me," or "I cannot succeed," your energy and actions will follow that programming. I have met hundreds of brilliant people who said, "Bob, I know what to do, but I don't do it. Why?" The answer is always the same. You are still controlled by an old paradigm. You want to change but feel fear, want to grow but feel guilt, want to invest in yourself but feel undeserving. True success requires much more than information. It demands transformation, an emotional and energetic shift beyond logic. For this to happen, you must be willing to confront yourself, observe honestly, and free yourself from old patterns. Let me share a real story. I had a friend, one of the smartest people I've met, a psychologist with top degrees, a passionate reader and speaker. Yet she never prospered financially. She was afraid to invest in herself, always saying it wasn't the right time, that other priorities came first. One day, exhausted, she told me, "Bob, I'm tired of knowing everything but living like I know nothing." That struck me deeply. She had all the knowledge but was trapped emotionally in a scarcity identity. Together, We worked not on what she knew, but on what she felt. We dismantled one by one the automatic negative thoughts she held about herself and rebuilt her self-image from failure to deserving. This took time, pain, and resistance, but the outcome was freedom. Today she thrives financially and helps others escape the same emotional prison. This reminds me of something you might need to hear. Knowing isn't enough. You must feel it, live it, embody the new identity you want to claim. You won't become prosperous if you keep feeling small, guilty, insecure, or unworthy. You need to see, feel, and act as if you have already arrived, because that is what draws the results you desire. If you doubt me, look at Mike Tyson, a brutal talent and world champion. What happened? He lost everything, not for lack of physical strength or skill, but because his internal beliefs did not match his external success. He carried self-destructive thoughts, feelings of unworthiness, anger, and abandonment, which sabotaged all he had built. This is the power of the emotional paradigm. It can amplify your greatness or destroy your achievements. Now it's your choice. Will you continue on the old path or create the life you truly deserve? Will you keep believing that studying more, collecting more information, and waiting for the perfect moment is enough? Or will you find the courage to dive within and truly change? The world does not need more informed people. It needs transformed individuals. Transformation begins when you accept who you want to be, even if your current reality doesn't show it yet. Feel what living with freedom, lightness, and bravery would be like. Visualize it. Feel it in your body. Repeat it. Act on it. That feeling will become a habit. That habit will evolve into a mindset, and the mindset will create results. When that happens, you'll look back and wonder, how did I live so long believing I was less than I truly am? The hardest step is always the first, but it's also the most freeing. When you start breaking free from your limiting beliefs, something inside you will cry out, it's real. Your body shakes, your voice catches, and your mind makes excuses. You start thinking of everything that could go wrong. The what-ifs haunt you like ghosts pulling you back to comfort. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I lose everything? What if I'm not enough? Have you asked yourself these questions? Because I have many times. I remember clearly the day I decided to leave my job as a firefighter in New York City, where I had stability, a salary of around $3,000 per month, and benefits. Still, something inside told me that wasn't my place. I was deeply fascinated by the idea that the mind could change reality, but deciding to leave that security and face the unknown terrified me. I had no guarantees about the future, but I knew if I didn't act, I'd betray who I was meant to become. So I took the leap with fear, uncertainty, judgment from others, and doubt from family. Everything that comes with such a choice, and that uncomfortable decision changed my life. If I had waited to be ready, I would still be waiting. Most people get stuck at the moment of transition. When you start thinking, acting, and dreaming differently, your old self panics because it knows it's losing control. Old habits, procrastination, fear, and even people close to you will try to pull you back. But here's the truth. You won't die by changing or trying. You will die inside if you spend another year denying who you were born to be. I'm not telling you to burn all your bridges, but to be honest with yourself. You must take your stand in the unseen before you can harvest in the seen, and that demands courage. The courage to trust your intuition, to listen to that inner voice that keeps reminding you who you really are. Sometimes you will walk through darkness. It will seem like nothing is working, but that's because you are in transition between the old self that no longer serves you and the new self still being formed. This is the most fertile ground, but also the most painful, because here you often find yourself alone, without applause, without validation, without visible results. But this is where you prove to yourself that you are ready. You don't have to wait for the perfect situation. You must decide to move forward even without it. Look around you. How many people live on autopilot, complaining but not doing anything different? They talk about change, yet live reliving the same days, months, and years. Maybe you are one of those people, but the good news is this can end right now, with one decision, one choice. If you've made it to this video, it means something inside you is calling for change. Maybe it's not time to wait for another course, another approval, or another external push. Maybe it's time to look in the mirror and say, enough, now it's for me. It won't be comfortable, but I promise you it will be worth it. Because living trapped by what you know is surviving, but living guided by who you want to become, that is freedom. And if you dare to take that step, even with fear, you will discover something beautiful. Fear passes, but the power inside you stays. You don't have to change the whole world today. You only need to change yourself, one habit at a time. Your paradigm builds or destroys your results, and when you change that, everything changes. It always starts from the inside out. And if this content touched something inside you, even deep down, don't ignore it. This is no accident. It's your next level calling you. And if you want to climb one more step on this ladder of evolution, the next video appearing on your screen is exactly where you need to be right now. There I will show you how to move forward even more so that tomorrow you are 1% better than you are today, and that 1% every day transforms any life. Thank you very much for being here with me, and I'll see you in the next video.